everyone, welcome to the ranking, and welcome to my ranking of Peter Berg's movies. Yes, Peter Berg had a really strong year last year for movies, so I thought the celebration of his new movie that came out just a week ago, in Canada at least, it came out, Patriots Day. So yeah, to celebrate Patriots Day, I thought I'd rank all of Peter Berg's movies from my least favorite to my favorite. He has 9 movies, and I've seen all his movies, surprisingly. Well, actually, I had to watch a couple of them last night, some ones I haven't seen yet, but yeah, I finally now have seen all of Peter Berg's movies, and I thought I'd just rank all his movies from my least favorite to my favorites. So yeah, alright, let's get started. Here's my ranking of Peter Berg's movies from my least favorite to my favorite. Alright, coming at number 9 is Battleship. Battleship I have never seen a second time. I saw this movie once when it came out in, what was it, 2011, 2012. This movie is just god freaking awful. This movie's terrible. I know Peter Berg loves these war action movies, and he tried to make a science fiction movie out of a board game, which was an action military movie. It didn't work. You have Rihanna in the movie, I don't know why. You got Liam Neeson in the movie, I have no idea why. You got Taylor Kitsch as the lead character, he's just god awful. The action scenes, the visuals, nothing in this movie works. This movie was just basically trying to be a Transformers ripoff, and it ended up being worse than almost all the Transformers movies, and that is an accomplishment of itself because the Transformers movie sucks. For this movie to be worse than Transformers, it is pretty bad, and yeah, it's the worst Peter Berg movie. Coming number 8 is a movie called Very Bad Things. Yes, I watched this movie last night, and I could not stand this movie. This is a very uninteresting, uncaptivating, dramatic comedy that has like Cameron Diaz and Jon Favreau and Jeremy Irons in this movie, and what a waste. Except for Cameron Diaz, like she's terrible, so being in a terrible movie is nothing new for her, and yeah, this movie was just so bad. The writing, these characters, the unlikability of these characters, the story, it was predictable. Nothing about this movie worked for me. Like, I didn't think it was funny, I didn't think it was deep or dramatic, I didn't think anything in this movie worked. It was horribly executed, horribly directed, and yeah, honestly, if he didn't make Battleship, this would be his worst movie, but Battleship is a fucking disaster, so yeah, this is just his second worst movie then. Coming number 7 is The Kingdom. Yes, The Kingdom, again, a movie I just watched last night. I haven't seen this movie, I finally got to see it. This movie had potential. I personally did not like it, though. I thought Jamie Foxx was okay, that's it. I didn't think the supporting cast really worked out that well. I didn't think the action scenes were all that great. I found this movie just kind of boring. It was very dull, it was pretty derivative at times, and again, it's not really well executed or well directed. And Peter Berg is a very talented filmmaker. Just, it didn't work for this movie. Like, he's directed some good war movies, and this just isn't one of them. I didn't find it interesting. I didn't care for these characters. I really didn't care where this story was going. I really didn't give a shit. I just wanted this movie to end because it was just so boring, so dull, and just so lifeless and uninteresting, and yeah, I'm not a big fan of this movie. Some people are, I'm just not a fan of it. Coming number 6 is Hancock. Yes, Hancock is a movie I've seen multiple times because it's fascinating, this movie. This movie isn't very good. It's not a really good movie, but again, it has potential to be good. That's the thing about Peter Berg's bad-ish movies. When he makes a movie that isn't that great, there's potential for that movie to be great. This movie had so much potential to be a great movie, and it kind of fell flat because the first act of this movie is so good. Will Smith as this superhero, this drunk superhero, and basically he saves the day, but he's so bad at it. Like, he's so half-assed and stuff, and he just doesn't give a shit. He's an asshole. He doesn't like being called an asshole, but he's an asshole. And I thought that was really funny and enjoyable. Like, I thought this drunk superhero and maybe making him a better superhero, I thought that was an interesting idea for a movie. And for like the first like half an hour, I'm really into this movie. Again, I've seen this movie multiple times because I always love watching the beginning of this movie, but then it just really falls for me in the second and third act. The first act is great, it's so freaking funny, there's a lot of funny scenes, and even Jason Bateman's fine in the movie. But when they go into more depths of the character, it's so dumb. It really doesn't make sense and stuff. Then there's this romance, this sort of love triangle, and even after the movie ends, it really doesn't make much sense. And it's not very dramatic. It tries to be this really dark and serious movie. Like, it started out really funny, and then just turns into this dark, serious movie, and just, it really took me out of it. And like, if it was like a captivating drama, I would have been more invested, but it's not. It's very cheesy, and it's not very well done. Charlize Theron, I love Charlize Theron, but she's not really that great in this movie. And Jason Bateman start off like an interesting character, but then kind of gets like, side pushed and just becomes a pointless character. Will Smith is great throughout the whole movie because it's Will Smith, but I really enjoyed the funny side of his character, this drunk character who maybe turns into a good superhero, but when they go into more details of his backstory and about this other superhero person, I won't spoil it if you haven't seen it, but it becomes stupid, and it just becomes like this dark, dramatic movie that just does not work. The first act is great, but the second and third act just falls flat and just turns the movie into a just kind of movie. Just It could have been a great movie, but now it's just a movie. Coming number 5 is Deepwater Horizon. Deepwater Horizon, everyone actually asked, where's your review for Deepwater Horizon? I didn't do a review for this movie. I saw it opening week too, but the reason I didn't do a review is because I didn't have a lot to say about this movie, and I thought I would get a lot of hate, because the first time I saw this movie, I didn't understand the praise for it. I thought it was just decent. I didn't think it was a great movie. People were saying this was like one of the best of the year. Jeremy Jahns gave the awesome-tacular. A lot of people, a lot of critics really loved Deepwater Horizon. It's actually like one of the most highest-rated movies on Peter Berg's filmography, which I strongly disagree. I thought it was okay. It's about the oil strike, the oil disaster and stuff, and has Kate Hudson, Kurt Russell, John Malkovich, and of course Mark Wahlberg. I didn't find it all that interesting. Mark Wahlberg, Kurt Russell are okay, but some of the disaster elements, the oil spill elements, wasn't really tragic to me, didn't really hit me emotionally, didn't get me invested with the characters. I really wasn't really engaged by the story, or even interested or invested with the story. That's just a personal opinion. Like, am I saying this movie's bad? No. It's not a movie I could get into. I saw it a second time because maybe I thought, well, a second viewing, I would like it more. I didn't. I thought it was, again, the same. It's a good movie, but it's just not a good movie I could personally get into. I can't get into it. I can't get into the story or the characters. It's just personally, I have no idea why. I just can't get into this movie. So yeah, that's why I didn't review it. I just couldn't get into it. Coming number 4 is The Rundown. Yes, The Rundown, again, it's not a great movie, but it's a really fun action-adventure comedy. Dwayne Johnson's great. It's one of the few good movies I actually like Seann William Scott in. The Rundown and Role Models are the only movies I actually like Seann William Scott in, and he's good in this movie. Rosario Dawson, Christopher Walken as the villain Hatcher. It's a fun movie. That's what The Rundown is. It's not an amazing movie, but it's just a fun, entertaining, enjoyable film. And I just love seeing The Rock kick some ass, and his funny back and forth with Seann William Scott is really funny. It's just a fun movie. Coming number 3 is Lone Survivor. Lone Survivor, another Peter Berg, Mark Wahlberg movie. This one's actually good. It's a very good, very intense, very gritty, very realistic war movie, and I really liked it. I love the soldiers. Taylor Kitsch is good, Emil Hirsch, Ben Foster, and Mark Wahlberg. The title alone kind of spoils the movie, because you know who the Lone Survivor is. He's on the fucking cover, but the movie's good. That's all I gotta say. Lone Survivor is just a good, graphic war movie that really works. I was invested with the characters, and I was really sad when some of the characters got killed off and stuff, because the movie made them well written and fleshed the characters out, and they were portrayed by good actors. So yeah, I like Lone Survivor. It's not the best war movie, but it's a good war movie. Coming number 2 is Patriots Day. Patriots Day, I did a quick review, quick movie reviews video. I thought it was a good movie. Again, just like Deepwater Horizon, I saw it a second time. The second time I watched this movie, I actually did enjoy it more. Like, I thought it was a good movie when I watched it the first time. But I watched it a second time, and I actually liked it more. I really liked the event of the Boston Marathon. How they did it was so realistic, so tragic, and so emotional. I thought it was good. Peter Berg directed the movie very well. I thought Mark Wahlberg was good, John Goodman, Kevin Bacon, Michelle Monaghan, and even the two guys that play the terrorists. They're fucking crazy in this movie, and they do a good job. I love the Asian in this movie. He's pretty awesome, and yeah, I love that. I love how the story's structuralized, and I love how it really felt like it was the incident of the Boston Marathon. It was very loyal to the source material. It didn't really like piss people off, this movie, which is good, and yeah. I may have not loved it the first time I watched it, but the second time I watched it, I did enjoy it even more. And maybe if I watched it a third or fourth time, I might like it even more. But yeah, Patriots Day is a very good movie, and probably the second best Peter Berg movie. And my number one favorite Peter Berg movie is Friday Night Lights. I've talked about this movie a few times. It's one of my favorite sports movies, probably one of my favorite football movies, and just a damn good movie. I love this simple story about this high school football team in this town who's really, really obsessed with football to the point that it's almost insane and fucked up. And yeah, I really enjoy this movie. Billy Bob Thornton as the coach. Again, you got a lot of great actors. In this movie. You got Garrett Hudlin, Lucas Black, who actually isn't a good actor, but is good in this movie and stuff. And yeah, it's a very interesting movie. It's a good character study of all these high school students and this football team in this town and how obsessed they are with the game of football and stuff. It's very inspirational, too, at the ending, and it's very realistic, and it's so well directed, so well paced. The score, the writing, the acting, everything about this movie is done very well. Again, it's based off a show I have not seen yet, but I'm going to check it out. But yeah, this movie, so good. It's one of my favorite sports movies, and it's hands down my favorite Peter Berg movie. So yeah, that was my ranking of all of Peter Berg's movies, from my least favorite to my favorites. So in the comment section below, please tell me, what is your ranking of all of Peter Berg's movies, from your least favorite to your favorite? Comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like this video, please like, subscribe to this channel, and join the dark side.